did. We talked about being in a lesbian relationship.
Yeah, what it looks like.
And how men don't legitimize.
Right. I think after 3 years of doing it, we finally figured it out. It's taken us so much work, so much healing, so much fucking patience.
This is the most popular question: is how do the kids take it? How do you deal with coming out to your kids and how they perceive it? You know, do they ask, how do they handle it?
Yeah.
And to me, for us, we just treated it as like any heterosexual relationship.
You don't need to come out to your children.
I know.
You just love the person that you're with and then show them what love looks like.
Yeah.
Because by coming out to your kids means that you're telling them that that's something that's uncommon, or that that's something you have to feel a little bit guilty about or abnormal, right? But by showing them that this is just love, like it would be in a heterosexual marriage or relationship, then they normalize it too.
Yeah, I mean that's the advice, because if everyone always asks how do I do it, that's literally just introduce your partner, and if they have questions, that's okay. Answer their questions, but most of the time,
be confident in it.
Right.
Most of the time, like, you can speak for you too after this, but like they'll just sit there and say and be happy for you.
Yeah, nothing. There was no
kids
questions
just love
about
happy.
No questions about like being gay. That there wasn't a gay question.
None.
Yeah, same.
Literally,
she was worried about Ryan.
Yeah.
Well, I was worried about Ryan because Ryan reacted when we told him about the divorce. I didn't expect him to cry as hard as he did. He cried hard. So I'm thinking, if he didn't want his mom and dad to divorce and cried this hard, my worry was, is he going to be okay with me bringing in Tori now in the picture? Like, how is that going to go?
Well, I think, you had lied so long to him about what it was looking like in the home. He didn't realize or understand how unhappy mom was.
Yeah,
he
didn't, because he was a little boy. He was doing his own.
He was probably, you're protecting him so
Liza.
much that he's probably scared too. He's like, I don't understand this.
Yeah.
Liza, on the other hand, picked it up
everything.
right away.
And Liza does see everything.
She's
hears
so smart.
everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
You can't manipulate or bullshit that girl.
You can't bullshit her.
She sees right through you.
I get it being afraid because you thought it would hurt his feelings. He even was like, okay.
Yeah, so I ended up telling Liza first. I remember me sitting in the car and I was just like so happy and in love. And she picked Liza's like, Mom, you're just so happy now. She's like wanted to know what the hell is happening. And I'm like, I got to tell you something, but Mommy, just tell me, be honest with it. Let's remember, I definitely brought her in as a friend first to feel out how the kids felt about Tori. Yeah. And then I told Liza, I'm like, Mommy is seeing Tori. She got so happy because she loves her so much. She started crying. She was in the car bawling. She's like, are you really? And I was like, and I got nervous at first. I was like, are you okay?
Didn't they say, should we call her mom now?
What kind of cry is this?
She's like,
it's a good cry.
She just was so happy. She started crying. And I was like, are you okay? I'm like, are you okay with this? I was like, what's wrong? And she's like, no, I'm so happy. I really love her. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that melted my heart. Yeah. 2 weeks later, or when it was winter break for Christmas, Ryan was down here playing with the Lego set, and I was like, all right, I have to tell him. I just have to do it. I come down here and I was playing Legos with him, and I'm like, how do you feel about Tori? And he's like, I really love her. She's so nice, Mom. And then I said, how do you feel about Mommy dating Tori? He's like, he looks up at me, he goes, you're dating Tori? And I was like, yeah, is that okay? And he's like, I love Tori. And then he's like, of course that's okay, Mom. And then just continued playing with his Legos. He did not.
He didn't ask. They don't
ask.
ask.
Born with bias.
No.
Bias is taught to children. And so by making it abnormal to them, they're going to be like, oh, that's weird, because you're making them think it's weird. Like,
yes.
Let's just be honest. Adults make things weird.
That's exactly
It's not the kids.
Don't grow up thinking things are weird. You tell them that they're weird.
Right.
It's the programming.
Yes.
If you've raised your kids to be open-minded and you're not judgmental in your home, and then you come out, I'm pretty sure they're going to be like, okay.
Yeah, whatever.
If you're not confident in your relationship, your children aren't going to be.
Right.
You have to be show up as the person that you want to role model yourself as towards your children. Be confident in it and just love who you love, and they'll accept it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody needs to overthink anything. It's really not.
And sure, they may have questions if they've been in a closed-minded home, especially if like the other person, like the other parent isn't as open as you are.
Yeah.
Answer their questions. It's
Absolutely,
going to be okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
And don't fear yourself. Don't think for a second that you can't talk to your kid because you're afraid of their reaction.
In reality, that's kind of like internalized homophobia in a way, because we're so conditioned to believe that it's wrong to be
what
gay.
we're doing.
Yeah.
And even though we don't realize
It's
we're
not
doing it, it's
intentionally,
not
but-
intentional because like the outside world makes us feel so small that in return, a lot of people have internalized homophobia without realizing it.
Yeah.
And that's why they say, how do I come out? How do I tell people? First off, be confident in who you are as a person.
Right.
And your identity.
I can't tell
Right.
you the last time I came out to somebody.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I never, only because I had to, my mom asked me because she saw what was up with the person I was with. Then I was like, yeah. I never sat anyone down
Me
and was
either.
like,
Never,
I'm
ever.
gay. Like, I
Yeah,
never
same.
did because I'm like,
No, it's no one's business.
I already knew they weren't going to accept it. So why would I even
And also,
bother?
it's kind of
Yeah,
cringy
no.
that we make it, like we've just made it normalized that sexuality, like your sexuality or your sexual preference is a lifestyle. Like that's not a fucking lifestyle.
If it's a lifestyle, then you're technically, you're choosing to be straight too then.
Your heterosexuality
Like, make it make
is
sense.
your
Yeah.
lifestyle. Like don't act as if it's like so abnormal now. It's like, it's so different from your lifestyle, bro. It's just, it's just, I'm a human.
We
Yeah.
get groceries the same way
Same
you do.
way. We
like-
bleed the same. Our fucking
Right.
shits look
And
the
no,
same.
we're not fucking pedophiles. Stop putting us in the same category, weirdos.
Yeah.
That's not even, that's such a weird conversation.
Child groomers. and-
Yeah, they
Yeah.
fucking put us in the same category.
I feel though like those people were raised in a very fucking like homophobic
Corrupt home.
Christian home to where like
in cults.
yeah
because
to
it's
where
cults.
they can't get their brain out of that like
Yeah.
place that they've been stuck in for so long.
Yeah.
That they themselves are like homophobic because they can't accept the reality of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so annoying with the choosing of your sexuality. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sorry. I just don't want to forget. I think also when you're introducing people to your partner, you don't want to introduce them to your partner that's the same if you're repeating the cycle of being in a bad situation again with another piece of shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because then that would suck to have to reintroduce and then
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just wanted to put that
I
out
get
there.
what
Like,
you're
you
saying.
gotta know
Wait,
who
are
you're
you saying like even if they're gay, if they're with somebody who's just as toxic as their
Right.
ex,
right. That's what I'm saying.
you still probably
treat it the
'cause
same.
You don't
Yeah.
want to put your child in another situation now where they went from one horrible household.
No,
to
I
the
get what
next.
you're saying with that. Absolutely. Sometimes it's hard to know if you're in a toxic situation
Yes.
until it gets bad.
What I was trying to say is like when people tell us that like it's a choice to be gay, but then like, is it a choice that you pick to be straight? Did you pick it? So do you question your sexuality? Are you like, I'm gay, but I'm gonna be straight today? Like I'm gonna be straight.
It's almost
Like so, it's
an
like you have the option, but you chose. So that means you have to feel
a certain
way to have
chosen.
chosen that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
I get that.
make it so then you're in turn maybe you're bisexual.
We never invalidate people's sexuality.
No.
I'm not like, oh, so if you think I chose to be gay, then you chose to be straight. Like, I don't even say that. I'm like, you're weird. Like, you're weird, bro. Like, that's a weird thing to say to somebody.
Yeah, but it's
really
just like the
goofy.
wildest is like, who the fuck would choose to walk down the street and be judged every
Right.
day?
Seriously.
Why the fuck
For
would
doing
we do that
what?
to ourselves?
For being themselves.
We know what society we're growing up in.
Like,
we
and-
know
And-
what we're surrounded
and
by.
Our generation saw the legalization of
Marriage.
gay marriage.
That's why.
Why would we choose that?
But also, they say, oh, that's why it's just like a trend now all of a sudden. Or is it that it was
No.
legalized? And is it now that it's more socially acceptable?
Yes, I saw
And there's
this-
more
this
representation?
really great debate. And this guy was debating against somebody who was talking about how there's a gay agenda. And he said back in the day, like in the 1800s, whenever, left-handed people didn't really exist that much because left-handedness was seen as a mental disorder.
You were a witch.
Right. There was
Yeah, it was
something
that
wrong with
sick
you.
stuff.
So people
to
were
them.
almost closeted. Then they realized like there's nothing
Nothing
to
wrong
it.
with
It's
having a
just
left hand.
your preference.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, statistically, left-handed people just started showing up more and more. Is it because there's a left-handed agenda?
Yeah.
No, it's because left-handedness is accepted now.
Same
it's
thing
not
with
seen
everything,
as a sickness.
right? Same thing with like holistic medicine. If
Yeah.
you were a holistic doctor, you were burned at the stake because you were a
quack.
witch.
Right.
Jesus.
And like more and more, they're just more openly holistic doctors. It's the same fucking thing.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
more socially acknowledged. Maybe not acceptable because we're
Right.
still crucified for it.
I liked girls in
But-
fucking kindergarten.
But
Explain
and
it.
especially
Barbie
on
was my
TikTok,
girlfriend.
They kept invalidating so many people's sexuality, especially bi girls. It was like you're not really bi. You're just doing it because it's a trend, and you want to blow up, and you want clout,
yeah,
just to be gay. And I